Hello, welcome to this AVLAND review of the Denon PMA-720 amplifier. We're going to talk to you about the features of this amplifier, its build quality, and what we think it sounds like. So this is Denon's sort of mid-price budget amplifier. It's a step up from their base model. And you know, for that you get things like an aluminium front panel on the front, and it does look, you know, more expensive than it actually costs. It's remote control volume and remote control input selector on it, which is very good. It has, you know, quite a few inputs. It has tone controls. You can see there it has a loudness button and a source direct. The source direct bypasses the tone controls, and in a perfect world you shouldn't have to use those tone controls. If you marry it up with a good set of speakers, you should be able to just use it without using tone controls, so a straight signal. The loudness button, again, you really shouldn't use that. You should just use it in its straight form. If you look at high-end amplifiers, they don't have tone controls on them. They don't have balance controls, but this isn't one of them. This, people at this sort of price range maybe expect that to have that. It also has A and B speaker switching, which is useful. Here you can see the remote control, and it actually, directly controls it with its motorized going up and down, which is quite neat. A lot of amps don't necessarily have that, and certainly sort of home cinema amps and things like that don't have that now. So that's quite neat. You can see here it's got a tuner, input, an auxiliary input, a CD input, network player, and one input for a sort of tape recorder or a mini disc or CDR or something, an older recorder. And also a turntable input, so it has a phono stage in. Here you can see that the input selector isn't motorized, they're just lights, and that actual knob on the front there just spins around to select which input you want. Now it has 85 watts per channel. The phono stage in it is a moving magnet, so not moving coil, but again that's what you'd expect at this price point. It's the 85 watts rating, slightly erroneous because that's with 4 speakers at 1 kilohertz. It's more real world, rating is about 50 watts because that's at 8 ohms, and that's RMS. That's between an average of frequencies across 20 to 20,000 hertz. So that's more accurate. You can see here inside the box, it's got quite large capacitors for its price point, and it's a fairly full box. There's not much space in there, so you've got to think, if you were considering buying this instead of a mini system or a micro system, you couldn't fit all that into a small box. So you are getting more components, bigger components, better components than you would get in something like a micro system or a mini system. So it is worth spending the extra money, and it is worth having the extra size. Unless you're absolutely pushed for space, go for full-size separates like this because you will get the benefits. You can see there the big heat sink in the middle, which helps vent off any heat generated, which the little amplification modules there that are bolted to it do generate a lot of heat. Also you can see there the motor that's on the back of the volume control, and these are all the different circuit boards inside it, and quite large capacitors as well for what is a fairly budget at mid-range sort of amplifier. Relays there that do the input switching, a little microprocessor there that controls them and does the infrared remote control operations. But yeah, I mean it's good. It's well put together for the price. There are other models on the market now, though, that have other features over the top and above this. But I don't think you really you can go wrong for sort of quality. It'll drive 2 sets of speakers, so it's ideal if you want speakers in another room, and you can plug a record player into it. Another feature that it's got is it has a pre-out, which is unusual at this price point, so you could always upgrade it by adding a power amplifier to it. It also has remote control in and out. This is so you can link it up to something like either a remote control or another Denon component like the CD player, and actually you could have this hidden away and just have a CD player on show. It has these AC outlets as well, so it can actually power the CD player, the network streamer, a tuner with a European plug on. Some of the actual components do come with a European plug, and you can just and have a UK adapter that you can unscrew and take off and then plug directly into this. The advantage of that is when you turn the amplifier on, it turns the other components on as well, so saving you having to have multiple sockets or some kind of extension lead or something like that. The terminals at the back here do take banana plugs, which they have these little bungs you have to take out. They'll also take bare wire, but we would always recommend using banana plugs. It's less messy, less likely to cause short circuits, and generally speaking, a better connection. And then the speaker cables won't oxidize up as well, which they may do if you just bare wire. But you can do both. You can see here if you unscrew that you can just fit bare wire in, although we've soldered up the bare wire to stop it from oxidizing up. But yeah, we recommend banana plugs wherever possible. The terminals on the back are also gold plated, which is good. In the box you get here the instruction manual, you get batteries for the remote control, and here is the actual remote control. This also will control a Denon CD player and their network streamer. And you also get a CD-ROM now with the actual instructions on too, which is quite good. Now, pros and cons. On the pro side, it's very well built for the money, and it looks stunning, you know, especially with the matching Denon components if you buy it with the CD player. It's not too shabby on power either. 50 watts is quite good for this price point, and it has A and B speaker switching, and we really like the fact that it has a pre-out. That's very useful. On the con side, there are other products on the market, as I mentioned, that have a few more features, and you know, it's a shame that they didn't put in at this price point a DAC, especially a USB DAC, so that if you're not using a CD player anymore, you're just using, say, a computer or a PC as a source, you can plug it in and use it like that and go direct to it. This way, you've got to get like a good sound card, which the internal ones are always a problem because they generate a lot of noise, so you'd have to get an external sound card, and it's generally a bit more messy. It's a shame it hasn't got a USB input. We would really like that. But apart from that, you know, it's very good for the money. It's a good all-round amplifier. That's the end of our review of the Denon PMA-720 amplifier. If you'd like to see more reviews or you'd like to purchase this amplifier, please visit our website avland.co.uk. Thank you.